You know, I've really got to agree with your mom. Men your father's age really knew how to lay down the best licks. What's up, kids? Welcome to a new installment of Weekend Wankshop here with your good pal, Uncle Ben. This week we're taking a trip in the good old Wayback Machine to study some licks that your parents very likely banged to. Talking about Journey, talking about Lights, talking about Neal Schon, and your parents banging. This song is just so fantastically wonderful, I can hardly even stand it. The vocals from good old Steve Perry are unbelievable, the harmonies are amazing. Neal Schon's guitar playing kind of has this sort of refined, stratty, Jimi Hendrixy kind of thing with amazing guitar tone. It's all great. Everybody that played in Journey was and is an absolute freaking monster. I would definitely go as far as to say one of the best lineups of any band of all time. The song Lights is in the very guitar-friendly key of D major, and one of the coolest parts of the solo is the really awesome kind of stair-steppy D major pentatonic, kind of D major pentatonic, B minor pentatonic, same diff, lick that he plays that ends on the 1 right there, on the D note of the D chord. Really, really cool sounding lick that you could add into your playing, even at like hyper speed in a metal solo or something like that, and it would sound great. The way that Neal plays it in this particular tune, he targets the notes of the chords that are going by, and it just sounds beautiful. But before we dig into that steamy sack of licks, let's check it out again at stepdad speed. Kids, you know the drill. Head over to Uncle Ben's Instagram page for a full tab of this week's lick. Go to Instagram and look up Ben Eller Guitars and you'll find me. Find the tab, learn how to play the lick, and upload a video of yourself playing it along with the hashtag WeekendWankShop. That way you make your mama smile. One of the most important parts of learning licks and solos is to learn the kind of chords that they're being played against. Once you do that, you can kind of analyze the licks themselves and figure out what you like about it, Like if he's hitting this note against this certain chord or this note against this chord, you can kind of start to learn what it is that you like and start building your own style. Now, Neal Schon is one of the most melodic players of all time, so it comes as no surprise that the way that he's playing against these chord progressions, he's targeting specific notes that are in the chords right there on the downbeat where that chord turns, and that's part of what makes this sound so damn melodic. The particular chord progression that Neal is playing against in this part of the solo is B minor, G major, and D major, and another D major. For you musos out there, that's the good old 6-4-1 chord progression. Really, really cool sounding progression. And again, as we play through these licks, you'll notice that he's hitting notes that are specifically in those chords. The first part of this lick utilizes the top section of the good old D major pentatonic scale, which if you're not familiar with that one, it goes like this. It's a 2-note per string scale pattern. Starting from the low E string fretboard number wise, it's going to be like this. 10-12, 9-12, 9-12, 9-11, 10-12, 10-12. He only really utilizes the top 3 strings of this, which is a really popular kind of annex to a minor pentatonic shape. A lot of people call this the BB box, because the late B.B. King used to use that all the freaking time. So here's the first section that we're looking at. You're going to start off on that 9th fret G with your middle finger, and you're going to slide up 1 whole step to the 11. Then what I'm going to do is to play the 10th fret B, then the 12th fret B. So far I got... Now the next part right here is a very kind of Jimi Hendrixy sort of lick. What you're going to do is to bar the top 2 strings on fret number 10. So we got my 10th high E and my 10th B string held down. And what we're going to do is to strike them both and then hammer on our B string to fret number 12 with our ring finger. It's important to make sure that your ring finger has enough clearance to where you don't accidentally mute out the high E string whenever you hammer on like that. We want to hear that high E string on fret 10 ringing out that D note as you play this part. So anyway, what we're going to do is to strike both of them on fret 10, hammer on 12, and then strum that 2 times. Then do that same thing again. So now we got this. And then the last part of this section is going to go like this. We're going to hit that 12th B by itself, pulling off the 10th B, and then play the 12th fret on the G. And again, that G note right there is out of the scale pattern box. If you remember, on the G string, all that we outlined before was 9 and 11, E and F sharp. He's hitting this G note, right? That's because he's smart. This is where the chord change is changing to a G chord, so he reflects that by hitting a G note against it. If he would have hit this F sharp against it, it would have sounded really kind of major 70 and kind of melancholy. So he's a smart, classy dude, so he chose to hit the root note, which is this G, against this G chord. Good choices. So anyway, what we've got here is we slid up on the G string 9 to 11, B string, we're going to play 10, 12, then we got a little barred lick, and again, 12 on the B pulling up to 10, 12 fret G, and then this last part of this section is just 3 notes. I'm going to play that 12 fret G again, 10th fret B, 12th fret B, and then we enter into the descending kind of stair-step pentatonic lick. Now there's a lot of different ways that you could look at this lick. You could just memorize it as a big string of fretboard numbers, as guitar players tend to do, or you could think of it as sort of a pattern that we're descending into that scale with. It's kind of sort of like if you took a scale, right? Like let's say the B minor pentatonic scale. That whole thing, right? And let's say I played the first note, I skipped the second note, and then I played the third note. And then I went back a note, skipped, played the next note. Went back, skipped, played the next note, and so on. You'd end up with something that sounded like that. This is that same idea, but descending down. Again, sometimes it's helpful to think about the actual pattern of what's happening there, kind of looking at the intervals of the notes rather than just the fretboard numbers. I'm going to break this up into 2 different kind of sections. One is sort of the top part of the D major pentatonic scale position, these 3 strings, and then the rest of it kind of finishes out more in the B minor pentatonic position. It's a really important thing to understand. The B minor pentatonic and the D major pentatonic are the exact same notes, just in different sequences. So anytime you're using one box of notes, you can use the other 2, since they're the identical set of notes. So the first part of this lick takes place at the top part of that D major pentatonic box. It goes like this: 10th fret high E, 10th fret B, 12th fret B, 11th fret G, 10th fret B, 9th fret G. Notice I did a little position shift there on that last note. And then we're going to play the 11th fret on the G. And I'm alternate picking that beginning with an upstroke. Now after you play that 11th fret G, this is where we're going to jump down into the probably more familiar B minor pentatonic box kind of scale position that most of you guys already know. And what we're going to do is we just played the 11th fret G. We're going to hop down here to the 7th fret on the G with our index finger. So again, that's a little bit of a position shift. Like that. Then 9th fret G, 9th D, 7th G, 7th D, 9th D, 9th A, 7th D, 7th A, 9th A, 7th A. That was a whole ton of notes. Let's play those again really slowly here. I'll play it from the top part here. 10th E, 10th B, 12th B, 11th G, 10th B, 9th G, 11th G, hopping down, 7th G, 9th G, 9th D, 7th G, 7th D, 9th D, 9th A, 7th D, 7th A, 9th A, 7th A. At this point he's going to wrap the whole thing up by playing a whole step bend and then taking it down here to the 5th fret on the A string, which is ending us on the root note of D, which is being played against that D chord that's rolling around at that time. Again, smart choices, ending on a D note against a D chord. Always a good idea. Snazzy licks. Now the cool thing is now that you understand that kind of skip a note, play the next note, go back a note kind of idea, it's awesome because you can work these into your, improvising and stuff like that too, and use these in your own licks as well. You could even just kind of improvise a little bit and come up with something like this. Just kind of throw around little fragments of it, Like I wouldn't really walk this down an entire scale pattern, because then it just kind of sounds like you're going, hey, check out what I've been practicing, which isn't necessarily very cool. Unlikely to attract chicks. We could do something like this where we just sort of toss it in every now and then to some cool effect. So there you go, kids. A sick lick that's going to be perfect for the next time that you want to attract all the wildest cougars in your town right to your doorstep. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Follow my hijinks on Instagram and Twitter at Ben Eller Guitars. Be sure to drop me an email for some one-on-one Skype lesson information. benellerguitars@gmail.com is my email address. Drop me a message and we'll talk rates and times and all that good stuff. Thank you guys again for watching. Catch you next time.